So we got this 28-inch 4-pound pike, and we're gonna teach you how to clean it and with no bones in it.
So I'm going to wear one glove, which is not a bad idea to do when you're cleaning fish. Keeps your one hand clean. And I stuck my hand between a rock and a hard place here last week and have some damage on the end of my fingernail. So we'll keep the bacteria out, because the last thing you want is fish slime in your cuts. A good way to get infection. So, knife.
Filleting knife.
Yep, filleting knife, nice and sharp. This is a traditional rapala or rapala. And basically, there's several different ways of cleaning and deboning a pike. There's the 5-fillet method, which you would take a strip off the top and then work down the Y bones. And the Y bones in a pike are kind of like this. So with the backbone and the 2 Ys. So you need to figure out where those are and take them out. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a fillet off. We're going to cut down through the Y bones and around the rib cage and down the tail where there is no bones. And then we're going to basically scoop the bones out after.
All right.
Okay.
Alright, so you made 2 cuts right behind the
Gill plates.
gill plates.
Now I'm going to do my best to find the backbone.
It's hard with the no.
Not get dripped on here. It's harder with the pike because it doesn't have a dorsal fin. So we're going to follow basically that line down the center. And if you end up on the wrong side of it, not a big deal. You can always go and correct that after. So basically we're going to try and start on the right side of the backbone if we can, and go a lot by feel. And once I get the skin open, I stick a finger in there to kind of help me follow along the backbone.
Move this out of the way so it doesn't get slimy. So just follow the backbone along.
Just follow the backbone along all the way down, and then of course once we get down past the tail, there is no Y bones, and that's often the piece of fish that is prized by people who eat fish, because you always get a nice thick fillet there with no bones in it. But we're going to take the bones out of the entire fish. Or at least that's our plan. So I'm just going to continue down using my fingers to pry apart the meat there. And the goal here, of course, is to take as much meat off the fish as we can. So this is kind of where the Y bones start, right here. So we're going to cut down through them.
Okay, let me come around to the other side. Where do the Y bones start?
So the Y bones start roughly about here. Okay.
Right at the tip of the knife, kind of?
Yeah, sort of. So we've already kind of started to cut through them. I'm going to continue to cut through them. Here you can kind of see the tips. And we're going to follow the rib cage around. Okay, I'm just going to work back up towards the head.
You can hear the knife ticking on
Yeah,
the bones.
hear the knife ticking on the bones. He's kind of flopping over on me here, but
he's dead. He's just sliding over.
I might have just got a little bit on the wrong side there. So you can hear the rib bones there. I've cut through the Y bones. And now I'm going to just open this up just a little bit more. So this is a lot different than cleaning a walleye or a bass that doesn't have Y bones. They still have the bones that come out to the lateral line for sensory and for support, but pike are just built a little bit heavier. Okay, so I'm going to follow those rib bones along. So we're taking off all the meat.
And we won't show you this on the other side, but do the same thing on both sides.
That's right.
So he's just kind of going around some bones there.
So you can see this is part of the Y bone. I've just kind of nipped that out. And we'll continue to use that other hand just to pull things apart. And once you get down near the ends of the rib bones, and lots of people don't realize this, they basically become tendons. So you can cut through them, just kind of ticking off the ends into the stomach cavity, and you don't end up with any bones in your...
Look, it kind of just all falls apart like that.
Yeah, so now that we've got the fillet laid out, okay, so here's the center line, okay, and we've got, these are the pectoral fins, these are the caudal fins back here, so if we flip that over, and those fins are attached to a bunch of cartilage up in here, so we want to go around that. So we're going to find the center line of the fillet, and we're going to come down that, and we're just going to carve around that caudal fin. Just like that.
Right.
Okay, and then we're going to continue back towards the back of the fish.
Right out to the back. And then there's the start of one of your fillets. So we're just going to take the end off there. Or are you going to take
Just separate it from the fish.
So we're going to do the other side. And then we're going to do the back. So there's still bones in this piece, but we're going to take them out.
We're going to take them out right now.
All right.
Okay, so I'm going to turn this fish so I can work on it. And so this is the top of one part of the Y, and this is the bottom part of the other part of the Y. So basically, we are going to scoop them in like that and scoop the second row in like that as well. Okay, so depending on whether you're right-handed or left-handed, you may want the fish going this way, or you may want the fish going the other way. And sometimes I'll flip around. Okay, but basically you go in that lateral line, and yeah, I'm going to flip it around. It's going to be easier. Okay, and I want to go by feel pretty much. And if you end up on the wrong side of the bones, no big deal. We just back out and go on the other side.
So how far back do the bones go till?
Okay, in this case, probably right to about there.
Is there a way to tell that, or is it just a guess?
Again, it's a little bit of a guess. We know, you can see here, okay, there are the bones that we're going to try and take out, and they end right about there. So probably the close to the back fin there.
Okay.
Okay, so now the next set, if we can feel them along here, you can see them, little tips of the white there. Okay, so that's the tops of the Y bone there.
Okay.
So we're going to try and pick those up. Again, go by sight, but also a little bit by feel. I'm going to try and follow those all the way back.
So there's a little chunk of meat in between here and here, and there's bones in between it. So that's the piece that, the only waste we're gonna have on the fish.
Yeah, and if you don't cut through bones doing this, that's a good thing.
So he's just going all the way to the back the same distance as he did on the other one.
Just working those bones back. And again, going by feel as much as anything. And this is where it's easier if you have a decent sized fish, a 3-4 pound pike,
The little ones are hard.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
their bones are so little.
Really easy to cut through them. Okay, so now that I got that laid out, I'm just going to go back in and we're going to again go by feel. And we're going to try and scoop those out. If you haven't done one for a while, it's always the first one.
Yeah, this is the first fish of the day. We're at our camp, and we caught this nice pike.
So here's another thing too that I'll sometimes do. If you're not sure if you got on the right side of the bones or not, what you can do is you can stick the blade in like that. And yeah, there's no bones to be had.
Because
so,
you can cut through it.
Yeah. So now we're just gonna go by feel. Back to the other side, working back and forth until we get to the edge, and then we can scoop those out. And again, the ends of those bones are tendon-like, so you can cut through them once you get down near the bottom. So basically I am scooping like that, and then I'm coming back and I'm scooping like that. Okay, and here they come.
So that's your chunk that you're gonna waste. It's a
That's-
little chunk, most of it's bones though, I'd say.
Yeah, bones on both sides, and there's a tiny little piece of meat. I guess if you're really thrifty, you could make soup out of that. It's, you know, 1/4 inch thick on that side on this fish, and it comes down to nothing on the other side. But we're gonna feed it to the wildlife. Okay, again, we're just scooping.
Cuckoo clock went off.
And lots of people shy away from northern pike because of the bones, the Y bones, and how hard they are to get out. But you'll find once you figure out how to get the bones out, they're exceptional to eat.
I think they are better than walleye.
Okay, and I'm really taking my time here so you can kind of see what I'm doing, because the first time you do this, if you haven't done it before, you want to take your time. Okay, and you can almost see the bones in there. Again, I'm just working from both sides. Now, we don't clean a lot of these, because we tend to keep a lot more walleye.
Oh, we target
We
walleye.
target walleye. But the nice thing about a northern pike is if you get a 3-4 pound fish, you can get an awfully nice fillet off there.
Yeah, and this is only 1/2 of the fish. So we're not gonna show you the other side because it's the exact same. So just do this on both sides of your fish, and you'll have 2 big fillets. See the bones pulling out there?
I got just a little thin, trying to capture every little bit of meat here. Basically, we're just gonna pull those
Yeah,
out.
so right there's all bones.
Yep.
And
Okay.
so that's your little piece you're wasting.
Okay, and there's our Y bones in
So
there.
those are bones.
And on the flip side, there's our boneless fillet. Beautiful big pike fillet.
And then you still have to take the skin off of it.
We do that.
And then that's how you clean a pike.